Welcome, this is MCG Tech with an old computer upgrade. I got this outdated Optiplex 760 for free, and decided it would be worth an upgrade just to see what a Core 2 Duo is capable of. Considering how I do not have a lot of money to spend, I decided to go the budget path and buy an older and cheaper graphics card. After a little bit of research, I decided to go with the Nvidia Quadro K600, which seemed like a good card. Sporting 1GB of VRAM, I was very curious to see if it could handle any kind of modern gaming. Additionally, the rest of the system includes a Core 2 Duo E7300 clocked at 2.66 GHz, 4GB of DDR2 memory, one 250GB Western Digital Blue hard drive, and a 250W power supply unit. But before I could start testing, I needed to remove the computer from the case because of how dirty the Optiplex case was. So enjoy the teardown. Once the teardown was complete, I practiced mounting the motherboard on some plywood. Once I was confident enough, I built the whole PC on an old cabinet door that was not being used. To turn the PC on and off, I am using the front panel I/O from the Optiplex case. The final result turned out better than I expected. The only thing I had to mod was the CPU cooler, which was a pretty simple fix. The first benchmark I ran was Cinebench R15, which gave an OpenGL score of 22.94 FPS and a CPU score of 87 CB. In Geekbench, the Core 2 Duo E7300 scored 1,571 single core and 2,393 multi-core. For the compute benchmark, the system scored 9,874. Moving on to gaming benchmarks, this computer was playable at both low and high settings. At 720p low settings, TF2 ran at a minimum of 39 frames per second, an average of 67 FPS, and a high of 94 FPS. At high settings, TF2 ran at a minimum of 31 FPS, an average of 47 FPS, and a high of 60 FPS. Counter-Strike Source ran smoothly at high settings with a minimum of 68 FPS, an average of 79 FPS, and a max of 89 FPS. Throughout all of my testing, I was glad to see there weren't any large frame drops. And finally, Counter-Strike Go ran at low settings with a minimum of 34 FPS, an average of 55 FPS, and a high of 82 FPS. At high settings, the system ran at a minimum of 21 FPS, an average of 33 FPS, and a maximum of 60 FPS. In conclusion, I was very surprised at how well the Nvidia Quadro K600 held up. I found that it was very playable in Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike Source. Even for Counter-Strike Global Offense, I would argue that it is playable for some casual gaming. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comment section below. Thank you.